Hello and welcome to day 2 of our Big Ten Media Day special.
I'm Katy Winge, he's Mike Davis, and we are ready for kickoff of the upcoming college football season. Today's lineup features big names in the conference and has some old and some new. It really felt like there was more conversation leading up to today, like today was what everyone was waiting for. Here's who provided their game plans today for part 2 of the football talk in Chicago. Major storylines. Minnesota in attendance today with a new head coach rowing the boat, PJ Fleck. The anticipation with this guy is huge. Local hometown hero Pat Fitzgerald in Northwestern also took the stage. And of course, Jim Harbaugh, who is seemingly more cultured after taking that trip with his Michigan squad to Italy in April. But are the khakis back? We also got a glimpse into the approaches of James Franklin with Penn State and Jeff Brohm with Purdue. And let's not forget Mike Riley with Nebraska and Chris Ash with Rutgers. Both ended their sessions today early due to a lack of questions from the media. So we know who was there today, but we have to mention the fact that Saquon Barkley was absent. The powerhouse running back for Penn State did not make the trip. Apparently Franklin only brings seniors to the media days as a reward. But Mike, I don't know about you, but I just really can't get on board with this philosophy.
Me either. I can't believe it. I don't know what's going on. Maybe these guys are just celebrating in their hotel room, going to the mini bar, ordering some movies. I just don't know why you wouldn't bring perhaps the best player in the Big Ten to Big Ten Media Day.
Maybe not even the best player in the Big Ten, the best running back in college football that we know of so far.
He's getting comparisons to Ezekiel Elliott.
Absolutely. I mean, as a head coach, you have to think that you would want that kind of publicity for your program and for your conference, to have your essentially face of your conference there, pumping up your team, getting your guys ready to go. How could you not want him there?
Saquon, say what?
Let's transition now a little bit to the broader look of the teams. Let's get a feel for these coaches and their delivery today, talking about what to expect this season. Allie Berger was there taking it all in for us. Allie, what were some of the takeaways from today's session?
Yeah, guys, we're here for the second of the Big Ten Media Days. A lot of looking forward and not much looking back. Most coaches dodge that question, not so surprisingly. Definitely the most energizing person in the room today was the guy who kicked it all off, PJ Fleck from Minnesota. He's rowing his boat from Western Michigan out to Minnesota. A lot of media attention surrounding him right now, and actually a 4-part docu-series about him called Being PJ Fleck starts airing next Wednesday on ESPNU and the Big Ten Network, but he said that the media attention isn't really getting to him. He's been listening to one of his mentors, the great Jim Tressel, who taught him 2 key lessons that he said he's been playing over and over in his head. The first one, to remember that nobody's perfect, and the second one, to have poise in what he does. And he did exactly that today on the podium, showing his heart and his energy as he tries to revamp the program there. In terms of on-field play, expect a lot more revamping on the running game. He said that that's the key focus for him heading into camp this next week.
Allie, what were some of the headlines from today that people don't know about yet, maybe that have gone under the radar so far?
Well, Harbaugh was Harbaugh, not so surprisingly, and Pat Fitzgerald did talk about Northwestern's facilities again, but I think that the biggest headlines that nobody really talked about today were with some of the new head coaches in the Big Ten. For example, Jeff Brohm with Purdue talked about taking over in December and how recruiting for the Boilermakers has gone a lot better than he expected it to as of recent. He said the biggest thing right now for his program to focus on, though, is taking the guys that he has and making them into better players. Not much to expect out of Purdue this year, it sounds like, but definitely look out for them in the future and improvement in this season. In addition, second-year head coach Chris Ash from Rutgers said that he has established his program now and the culture that it has within in his first year, and is now moving on to revamping the program from within. He brought in 9 transfers from other universities to try to create on-field competition, and on the coaching side brought in a familiar name in Jerry Kill from Minnesota, who left his head coaching position there after illness but is now back and will be the offensive coordinator for Rutgers this year. He hopes that'll spark some fire on the offense. Expect to see improvement from Rutgers this year.
If you had to pick one, what was your favorite moment of the day?
Weirdly enough, my favorite moment of the day involved the city of Akron, which was publicized pretty well by someone not named LeBron James. Penn State's coach James Franklin dodged a lot of questions today about the future of his program after winning the Big Ten last year. One of the things that kept getting talked about was the difficulty of their schedule, and all he wanted to talk about was Akron. He said it 10 times over. Somebody asked him about the renewed rivalry with Pitt, and he said, Akron, 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 Akron. I can't even do it enough times. I sound stupid, but you get the idea. Definitely avoided the question, but for sure, my favorite moment so far at Big Ten Media Days.
All right, thanks so much, Allie. We look forward to seeing that matchup. That actually wasn't one that I really expected him to be excited about.
Now let's take a deeper look into Northwestern and what's facing them this upcoming season. Reporting on the Wildcats is our Takuma Roback. Takuma, what's the current outlook for the Wildcats this season?
Pat Fitzgerald is in this for the long haul. Just this April, he signed a 10-year contract extension that will have him in Evanston until 2026. His primary goal, his long-term goal is this: to build a championship-level program.
Their leading wideout from last year, Austin Carr, is now a New England Patriot. How does Coach Fitzgerald see the team replacing his production?
Coach Fitzgerald mentioned that he didn't quite know who would step up in Austin Carr's place. However, he did throw out some names to watch. One of them is junior receiver Flynn Nagel and senior back Garrett Dickerson.
Thanks, Takuma. Now, Katy, we're here in Chicago.
Yep.
The big storyline this offseason was that Northwestern locked up Fitz for 10 years.
Huge.
Now, how big of a deal is that going to be for Northwestern moving forward?
I mean, first thing that comes to mind is recruiting. When you have a guy that's set in stone going to be with Northwestern, recruits know that he's going to be there when they get there. That's huge. But you look at who Northwestern has coming back as well. They've got a lot of experience, and there's no replacing that, and that really puts them at an advantage moving forward. Also, they just set plans to make this amazing facility on the side of Lake Michigan. I mean, who wouldn't want to play there?
I know. I mean, we got people returning. Justin Jackson, one of the best players in the Big Ten, but you got to entice recruits. And now we have that mainstay at the head coaching position, and we were at the media day yesterday. So many of these schools have a coach that's been there long term. So to have Fitz here for the long haul, that's going to be great.
Yeah, and he's built this program up. It's been a little slower than Northwestern fans would have liked, I think, but we've seen it positively grow. Who knows, maybe this is the year that they finally get over that hump. They've got a great quarterback returning, Clayton Thorson, and if they can get a strong line that can give them a little bit more time to throw, I think that their offense will be a huge threat moving forward.
And Anthony Walker, losing his leadership on defense,
yeah,
it's going to be a tough one. Coming up after the break, we get our Harbaugh fix. And potentially khakis? Stay tuned.
Big Ten football media days are like the pregame locker room pep talks of the college football season. They get everyone excited and ready to go, but we still have a little while to wait for the action. The anticipation is building. One thing we can count on, though, is there is always something to talk about when it comes to Jim Harbaugh and his Wolverines. Jim Harbaugh is a guy that traditionally goes against the current, and we had reporter Josiah Bethea acting as his shadow today. He gives us the latest on Michigan.
Good afternoon. Wonderful to be here. Got to come from behind the curtain. Can't enter from in front of the curtain, apparently.
Here at the Big Ten Media Days, we spoke with University of Michigan head coach Jim Harbaugh. As always, he's a huge personality. He spoke about the team traveling to Rome and the experience they had as a group. He said it was a great experience seeing another country, and it was great that they got to experience it as a group. He also spoke about the NCAA rule changes and no longer having two-a-days. He said hospitals do not have their employees suffering from sleep deprivation from doing two-a-days, and neither should the players. He then spoke about his quarterback and saying that I need him to be vocal, I need him to be loud. He's also looking forward to the impact that his new incoming players will have on the team and on the season this upcoming season. Lastly, he spoke about the 3 losses from last season. He's using it as motivation, and he hopes that it makes the team work harder and perform better. Signing off from the Big Ten Media Days, I'm Jay Bethea with Medill News Service.
All right, thank you so much for that, Jay. And Mike Harbaugh, an unconventional character, that's really what makes him who he is. Are you a fan?
Big fan. The times I've dreamt of being a Division I football athlete, I think I always pictured wanting to play for a guy like Jim Harbaugh. I mean, not only does he have the experience taking the 49ers to a Super Bowl, but he's just a character. I mean, if you saw that trip to Italy, he took these guys to gladiator battlegrounds. Like, that's where I wanted to be.
What more could you ask for, really? Competing
No.
gladiator battlegrounds? I mean, I don't know how else you're going to get recruits in, like at a higher level than that.
It's incredible. He's the guy you want to be your coach if you're a D1 football player. I can't see a better choice.
Well, if you're looking for something that's outside the box, I mean, he defies the classic stereotypes of the college football coach. So if that's what you're going for,
Right.
then
Well,
he's obviously your fit.
I don't think my personality would fit so well under like a Nick Saban. We're not clicking. But I have a bigger question to ask you. I've been meaning to
All
ask
right.
you this for a while. I heard that these khakis are made by Lululemon.
That is correct, yeah.
Guys can wear Lululemon?
Lululemon has an entire guy line, and I will say this about Lululemon clothing. It is so comfortable. So I can't blame him. I mean, he's running around the sidelines, throwing things up, always so animated. I mean, it's comfort.
But Jim Harbaugh, he's a masculine guy. If I was to put on some Lululemon, would I get the same reaction?
I mean, that's up to you. That's all about how you deliver yourself, carry yourself.
Comfort's more important.
Comfort is important.
Well, coming up next, we'll dissect the new rule changes that are impacting college football.
At Northwestern, we're Wildcats in every way.
Northwestern break right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all to go. Go you Northwestern, fight for sweet victory, spread for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
Welcome back. Earlier this year, the NCAA made adjustments in the college football world. 2 rules in particular really stand out. Firstly, two-a-days involving contact has been eliminated. Also, recruits now have the opportunity to sign in December instead of having to wait until February. To find out how these changes will affect programs, reporter Jennifer Lee spoke directly to Coaches Today.
2 days are gone. There are no more 2 days.
As far as football and the landscape in college football, things continue to change.
New NCAA rules include an earlier football signing period in December and an earlier period for prospects to take official visits. Big Ten teams hope to use the new recruiting model to gain a leg up on the competition, but at Big Ten Media Days, some of the coaches were not so optimistic.
My honest opinion is no. Because if you were able to sign them when they came to visit and they were ready to commit and actually sign and you had them, I do think it could make a difference. Till signing day in December, a lot of things can change.
The new early signing period will go into effect for the 2017 season. Reporting from McCormick Place, I'm Jennifer Lee.
Thanks, Jen. Now, Katy, yourself being a former D1 basketball athlete,
Sure.
how do you feel about these changes, specifically the two-a-days?
Well, for starters, I hated two-a-days. They're brutal. There's nothing like them. But with that being said, I preferred having 2 hour-ish long practices where you're focused, you're mentally in the game, you're giving it all you have for that amount of time, than having 1 3-hour practice, which is essentially what this rule does. It takes away the option of having 2 shorter practices with contact and just makes it 1 extremely long, drawn-out contact-filled practice. And if these guys are looking to, get the players away from football a little bit, I think that's naive. Like, that's not going to happen. These guys are going to be at walkthroughs and at meetings for the rest of the day, so their schedule will still be just as filled. I don't know. I don't know if making this rule is really going to help these athletes that much moving forward.
Do you think that perhaps in the background we're seeing some trickling effects of potential medical issues? Now there's a new report about CTE. Do you think eliminating 2-a-days might have some medical benefits?
Well, I think that was the motivation behind it, was thinking, okay, if we just make it 1 instead of 2, logistically that seems to make more sense. But for a lot of these guys, I mean, longer practices is where injuries can happen too, because you're less focused, your body is tired, you need that time to kind of rejuvenate and rest up and get a meal in before you get another practice. 3 hours for these football players is a long time to go without eating. So, I mean, I think that was the motivation behind the rule change for sure, but we'll see how it plays out. I don't know how these guys will feel about it.
What about, on a lighter note, just being able to basically choose where you want to go sooner? Is that a big deal for recruits or no?
I mean, I think it depends on the personality of these recruits too. For me, I preferred having more time to make a huge decision like that, weigh all your options, the pros and cons. But for the guys who know exactly where they want to go and have found their fit, why not sign on as early as you can and make it a done deal?
I would just flip a coin. I'm in the middle. I don't know what I would do on that.
Coming up next, we run through the best social media of the day. Our crew picked out some phenomenal clips. You're going to want to stick around. We've got saltine crackers, we've got bets. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
At Northwestern University, we are pioneering innovation and achieving excellence across every imaginable discipline. At Northwestern University, the possibilities are endless.
Our awesome crew searched and scoured and piled up the best social media moments of the day. Let's take a look at a few of our favorites. First, we got a tweet from Jim Harbaugh, basically talking about the elimination of 2-a-days. Wow, comparing them to military and hospital workers. And here, he talks about that Roman Coliseum he saw this spring.
After 30 years in Michigan, apparently they get rid of their stadiums. The one in Rome was 600.
I don't like it.
PJ Fleck of Minnesota, he lost a bet to his wife, so he showed up. Way to make a first impression on this one, can you believe it? Bald head, he was rocking it.
What bet could he have lost to his wife?
Well, I don't know, but he also carries a bucket list around with him. One of those things that he checked off was becoming a Big Ten coach. How cool is that? And then talk about that series that he's going to be in on ESPN. Was compared to the Kardashians.
Kardashian.
Well, you know what? That's how much it shows. These two worlds shouldn't be combined.
I know a Kardashian, actually. Went to primary school with her. And look at that. Look at the guy in the Jeep. He's looking at a line of mascots in the middle of the street. And now they're coming down an escalator.
What a sight to see. I mean, as far as the traffic goes, I would feel like that would create more cons than pros there. They're not directing any traffic. That's creating accidents.
Michigan State Spartan was really relaxing on that.
Style and Spartan, that's for sure.
I hate escalators.
And the best thing that we saw all day today on social media, Michigan football against Penn State in the Saltine Cracker Challenge. They have to eat 6 saltine crackers in 60 seconds. And from what we know, it's pretty much impossible to do this, but insane competition.
It's really funny you mentioned impossible.
Really?
Because I have a little surprise for you.
We're about to witness some history here.
I
folks.
brought some saltine crackers. Let me just go down here.
You're gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. You're gonna do
6.
Six
So
six to be exact.
I'm
All
pretty
right.
sure the challenge is 6 saltine crackers.
I got my phone.
In 60 seconds.
Yeah. All right. Let's get this clock going.
Can I just preface this by saying one quick thing?
Of course.
I read that only 1 in 10 people can do this. accomplish this feat.
In all honesty, that's a little high from what I was anticipating. I thought that this was like a nearly impossible
10%?
task. That's, I mean, a decent amount of people can do it. I didn't think anybody could do this.
All right, well listen, if I accomplish this, you're gonna shave your head like PJ Fleck.
I don't know if I agree to those terms, but we're gonna see if you can do it anyways.
All right, now, you're gonna give me an
I'm gonna
update
say
now.
on, okay.
Like, give me like
yes, I will.
20 seconds.
I'll do an on your mark, get set, go,
All right,
okay?
ready?
On your mark, get set, go. I feel as though I have to give like a play-by-play of what's happening here as well. You got 2 down, 1, 2, 3. This is your third. This is cracker number 3 here. He's doing okay so far. Oh, we've got some spit up going on from the saltine crackers. They're going in every which direction. You've done 20 seconds so far, so you're on pretty good pace. Almost 30 now. The chewing is slowing down, folks. We've got some slowdown in the competition so far. The clock is going very slowly. You're doing a lot better than I anticipated here. 40 seconds now. He's really slowing down. Do you need some water? I think I have some under here. We have 10 seconds remaining in the challenge. Oh, he's got no crackers left. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1.
Look at that.
What? Are you kidding me? That was really, really impressive.
I can close the show now.
I was gonna say before when we were setting this up, I thought I was gonna have to close the show because you wouldn't be able to talk, but you proved me wrong. But I'm still not shaving my head. That's not happening.
I thought you said you would.
No, I said I wouldn't agree or disagree to those terms.
I still really can't breathe, honestly.
Wow, well done. From all of us here in the studio, our awesome producer Mark Singer and Yifan Wu, Carl Bullock in there, doing us justice out here.
Yes.
Thank you for tuning in to this Big Ten special. I'm Katy Winge. He's Mike Davis.
I'm gonna get a glass of water.
He can do the Saltine Cracker Challenge.